try to hit those points.
So,
Do me go ahead?
yeah.
Well, yeah, so a lot of my passion, I'm very passionate, I'm very emotional. And that's one of the things I actually struggled with a lot about running and public speaking is because I'm so emotional, I get very embarrassed about being emotional. And maybe I think a lot of women are like that too. Right now, society's not very accepting, I think because we've been male-dominated for a very long time. And if you cry or become emotional, it's seen as hysterical, which goes back to the like hysterectomy. It has to do, being hysterical is like all to do with our uteruses, make us crazy and emotional and hysterical, and it's not acceptable in many societies, and I think there's still a lot of that. I'm very emotional, I'm very passionate sort of person, and so that's something that my emotion is something that it drives me to care a lot about the issues that I care about and trying to leave the most sustainable, resilient, healthy, safe environment possible for this generation and future generations. So it's a huge part of why I ran. It was a challenge for me to do it because I was always fearful of being emotional when I talk about things that I'm passionate about. So when I ran and when I would, go out to events and whatnot and have to speak, it was very, very, it was very scary. It's very challenging to have the courage to go out and be asked a bunch of questions, and maybe you don't even know about some of them, and fear of looking like a fool if you don't have answers, and having to learn. It was an important lesson to learn to be okay with saying I don't know. I'll have to look into that more, and so that was a great lesson to learn and to get over that fear and to have confidence, and so that was always something, and not be too fearful of what people think of you either, which I think also maybe as women we struggle with a bit more than men, is being afraid of what people think of us, but having enough courage in ourselves to not worry about that too much and just to be ourselves. So yeah, going out with my children, I mean, I was always very concerned about how it would feel for them if I lost, and I was afraid that they would be embarrassed at school, and that maybe they'd have kids making fun of them, like, your mom, didn't win or whatever. And I'm really happy to report neither of them had any child say any such thing to them, and all of the kids seemed to be really proud. I had a lot of their little friends who wanted to come out and go walk neighborhoods with me, and would come up with cute little sayings when we'd get up to the door, and that sort of thing, and a lot of my children's moms coming out to help too, and a lot of people who said that they were really inspired. A lot of the children at my children's school, their moms coming up and talking about how inspirational it was to them, which meant a lot to me. So I knew that, even if I lost, it wouldn't be in vain. Or, if you're inspiring other people and you're bringing the issues to the table that you really care about. So that gave me, I guess, I don't know, it just kept the fire lit under me, so that even I knew if I lost, it wouldn't be a loss, an altogether loss. And I remember on the morning I was taking my kids to school, and it was the morning of the election, big day. We'd worked really hard, all of my family had worked so hard, and of course my husband taking up the slack and all of that too around the house and with the kids. And I remember driving my kids to school, and them saying, what if, Mom, what'll happen if you don't win? I know you're just going to cry. Aren't you going to be so sad? And I said, actually, no. I said, I think it's going to be fine. I said, it'll be great if I win. That'll be great. I'll get to work on a lot of things that I care about. I said, but if I don't, there are a lot of upsides too. I'll have more time to work on a lot of the things that I like to do, and a lot more time to spend with you all, frankly. Mm-hmm. And so that, I think, really gave them a lot of consolation, and I meant it. And it's actually something that, even though I didn't win, I came up one spot short, that has been a huge consolation for me personally, is, as I shared with you all earlier, the fact that I've been able to do a lot of things and been invited to participate in different sorts of issue-based groups that I wouldn't have probably been invited to. I got to meet so many people, and that networking was really powerful, and for helping me to be able to accomplish a lot of the things that I want to be able to accomplish and that I feel really passionately about. So, of course it was sad to not win. We always like to win when we go for things, but there were enough upsides of not winning to that it was fine. And yeah, yes. It as far as the question about would I run again and what was the pain involved? I mean, sure, it's a little embarrassing when you go for something and you don't get it, but I'm not a egotistical person, so it wasn't like that hard for me to move on and to focus on all the positive sides of it. And I don't see it, as I said, as my career path, and so it's to me it's a means to an end, and accomplishing the things that I want to accomplish in the world. So I'm still able to work on those things and accomplish them. So that's all good and fine. And whether or not I'd run again, because it's not something that I see, I'm not trying to become the first president or anything like that. So for me, it would simply be a matter. It's not that the possibility of me not running again actually isn't because it was so painful that I wouldn't want to. It's really more that at this point I'm thinking about where I feel like I can do the most good, and in the current situation with I think quite good people on city council, I feel like in my activist role with 350.org and working on local food and all of the things that I'm able to do on the side, I'm finding that I'm able to have more impact than perhaps I could even on council, because there are such great people on council right now, and perhaps in the future there won't be such great people on council, and there will be issues that are coming up that are near and dear to my heart, and I would be willing to do it again for sure if that situation arose. So losing wasn't so painful that it's made me feel as though I couldn't. It's more of a matter of, I think, the circumstances right now, and that I feel like I'm able to do a lot of good and accomplish a lot outside of that.